A man and his glorious mustache land back on Earth after being up in space to fight the world that has been rout with nuclear war as we talk about the aftermath. What's going on, everybody? It's Brett Parker from Dissect That Film, and I am back for another week of the Vintage Video Challenge, or my journey through 1982, where I am following along with a wonderful podcast called Vintage Video Pod as they go through the films of 1982 in release order. And I follow along and do my own little quick reactions to the movies, and it's been a good time. And we are on week 3, which means we are talking about 1982's The Aftermath, or as it was also called, Zombie Aftermath. This is a movie that was literally written, directed, produced, probably catered by, it was all done by Steve Barkett. This man and his glorious mustache literally give us a movie about an astronaut that has to crash land on Earth that has been ridden by pretty much World War III and has to survive in this new world that he is not accustomed to. And, surviving these weird creatures, and also a villain played by Sid Haig, who, for me, Sid Haig was, I'm not well versed in the filmography of Sid Haig. Sid Haig, to me, is always Captain Spaulding from the Firefly trilogy by Rob Zombie. So to see him in his earlier works is a lot of fun. He is a detestable character. He plays it so well. Steve Barkett is okay. He is very soft-spoken in this movie. There's a lot of times where you don't know what characters are saying because it's just like, hey, what's going on, everybody? It's the world is tough. And I'm just like, can we speak up? We have weird narration. We have interesting effects for our ghouls that are in this movie, which I can't really be too critical about because this movie was made for $150,000. So this was indie as you can get in 1982. This movie was it was interesting because I had a good time watching it, but there were a lot of moments where I was just like checking my phone, checking my watch that I don't own, and just kind of being like, can we move this along? But when things start to happen, I get more invested. Yes, the audio is all over the place with this movie. Like I said, the dialogue is so quiet. Things aren't happening. And this character is kind of one note until he is then thrown into like a final battle in the end of the movie where it's just like bing, bang, boom, and everything is going on. And you're just like, what is happening? But I'm into it. Sid Haig, as I stated before, is detestable. He is so good at playing just a really horrible human being. But in this world that is riddled with war and nuclear fallout, this is the kind of character you expect from these type of movies, and Sid Haig kind of takes it and runs with it. And for a movie that was made for $150,000, I have to give it a lot of credit for what it was able to do. Just the audio again, and the music, which was done by John Morgan, really interesting because it didn't really fit a lot of the movie. There was just scenes where I was expecting something totally different from the score, and I was getting something else, and it just kind of threw me off on certain scenes where, there'd be like a slow scene where they're like people are creeping around areas, and the music is just not what you expect. It's like very like happy-go-lucky, and I'm just like, what is going on right now? I'm just so confused. And but by the end, I kind of like was just forcing myself not to pay attention to the score. I was kind of just focusing on what I was seeing on screen. I mean, Steve Barkett, for the fact that he literally did the majority of everything on this movie when it comes to like I said, he was a producer. He wrote the movie. I guess this was a movie he had wrote like a decade earlier, and it was really hard to get financial backings on it. Roger Corman had his hand on it at one point. It's a weird one. But yeah, this is probably my favorite of these 3 films that I have seen as part of this journey through 1982. It's not much better, but I feel in it, I'm seeing an improvement. I'm seeing something different from these movies. And for $150,000, I can't fault this movie too much for what it was trying to do. So I'm going to give The Aftermath a 2.5 out of 5. and I'm going to give it a thumbs up. I actually liked it. So make sure if you want to follow along with my journey in other places, of course, these will be posted on TikTok as well. So yeah, make sure to leave a comment down below here on TikTok. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to leave a comment down below. Make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. This is gonna be a lot of fun. I'm having a good time doing these little videos, and yeah, make sure to also go follow Vintage Video Pod, as they are the reason I am doing this. They were inspiration behind me getting into this and adding more stuff to my plate. But I'm having a good time watching these movies that I don't think I would have ever watched before. So that's fun. And yeah, make sure to check out, of course, if you're watching here, you already know about Dissect That Film. That is my podcast where I host it's a movie review podcast pretty much, or a movie dissection podcast that I do with my wonderful friends, Dan and Angela. And yeah, we talk about movies new and old, and have a great time. So make sure to, yeah, go follow us on all the pod apps and all that stuff. And yeah, I'm not good at this end stuff. So thank you very much for this journey, for joining me on this journey, as I should say. And until next week, I'm Brett Parker. Make sure to go watch some more movies. All right. See you later.